Hey everybody, Prepper Nurse 1 here. So in this video that we're doing right now, I want to talk about priorities, okay? People have had a lot of questions about down here and everything like that. Obviously we've had a increase of buildings here at the homestead. So what's the priorities? What should be being done, right? Everybody's getting buildings in here. We had, what, three buildings come in, was it last week, right? There's one of the new ones right there, right? So we got all these new buildings coming in. We got a building there, we got Dave's building back over here in the woods. We got Rob's, we got the Wolf's Lair back here. We got Jimmy's place up here, which is one of the new ones that just came in. So priorities, what should the priorities be for these people, right? They got their buildings in here now, so they got a shelter in place. So several priorities need to be done. Now, obviously right now we are still in June, right? So what's the first priority that should be getting done right now? So the first priority should be for the people with these buildings. Now, during the course of the winter, obviously Rob's had his building in here a little bit longer. Dave's had his building in here a little bit longer. But the priorities right now need to be getting the rain catchment set up. That's the number one priority, because as I've talked many times, water is life. So while they're working on doing those things, getting gutters on, getting their tanks behind their buildings, getting that set up and so that they have water. Obviously getting the buildings insulated. If they're going to be running, power, if they're going to set up a solar system, that's something that can be done as they go on. One of the other priorities, other than water, is going to be getting their wood stoves in. We've had discussions as a group about that, getting their wood stoves in place and getting them hooked up before winter gets here. Very important. One of the other things that we have been discussing as a group is getting more food down here. With the increase of buildings, increase of people, it increases places for storage. People have the room to be able to store things now. And I will tell you what, from experience, things will fill up fast. Ask me how I know, right? But once people get their wood stoves in, you guys have seen all these pallets. I've got all these pallets here. I keep adding more as I can. When I get an opportunity to pick some up, I grab them and I bring the pallets back here, and I've been stacking them up. What we're doing with the pallets, eventually, everybody will have a woodshed near their building, where they'll have their own wood supply for their wood stoves. And then what we're going to end up doing is we're going to go back over to the sawmill. We're going to get more wood from the sawmill because it's free. We don't have to cut our own trees down. Obviously, we've cut down the trees that were standing dead over here before Jimmy's building got in, and obviously we'll be able to utilize that firewood as well. But we'll get back over, we'll get more wood, we'll process more wood. And everybody that's going to have a wood stove in their place, which everyone should, okay? Do I think that we'll have all the buildings with wood stoves in this year? Probably not, okay? But if half the people get a wood stove in this year. So let's talk about this, right? We know that Mark has a wood stove in his building, right? We know that we have a wood stove in the pavilion. I have a wood stove sitting behind the camper. I also have another wood stove sitting on the porch of the Big Blue house. So, we have a few wood stoves here, and I have the components to set a ceiling kit up for one of the wood stoves somewhere at some point. And so I got all that stuff when I do eventually get a building of my own in here, that I'll set up a wood stove in that. And I have the wood stove, I have the components for that so that I could set that up. Now, Upper Meadow, Sandy's got her building up there now. Bud's got his building up there now. So, we have a lot of buildings on, like I said, Cheryl's place. So we have a lot of buildings. We need to get the wood stoves in there as well. The more wood stoves that we get set up, the better off we're going to be. I know Dave has in his travel trailer He brought a wood stove down the last time that he was here. So we're going to be getting that one set up as well. So Dave's place, I know, will have his wood stove set up before the snow flies. Johnson has a wood stove in his place. He also has the wall kit that he bought. He's got to buy the rest of the piping and stuff for that kit, and you know, getting that ready to go. So he gets a wood stove in before the snow flies. So all these pallets, you know, they can be utilized to build wood sheds. At the same time, having the pallets here, SHTF goes down the pipe before we're ready for it to be. We can utilize all these boards. They could be building materials. I mean, there's a lot of boards that could be popped off that can be used for building materials. So I mean, it's not like all this is going to go to waste, because it's absolutely not. Like I said, eventually that will probably, most likely, that'll all be wood sheds. And you know, like I said, there's a lot of pallets. I counted them up the other day. Not sort of, but we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So this was 12 high. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 12 by 12 times 6 is 60, 70, 72 pallets there, right? And then some of these have more on top, so 72, 74, 76, 78. This one is 3 higher, so 81. There's another one there, is 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, and then 4 more. So we're looking at 93 pallets as of right now. I will continue to add more as I go, obviously. But anyway, it's just a matter of getting things set up, making sure we have the water access, which I think is really important, making sure that we have the wood stoves in. I believe that's also very, very important. Getting food on site. The more food that we have here on site, nobody has to worry about the last minute trying to get food down here and going, oh my God, I got my truck or my car and the trailer loaded up, and then you get stuck and you don't get here and all that food gets abandoned. If it's already here, it's already here. So again, I mean, and I'll use this as an example. Do I have a lot of food? I do. But if all of a sudden we have a population of explosion down here and we have 50 people living here full time, how long is that food going to last? Not very long. And so, you know, it's important things that we have been having discussions about. There's obviously other things that have to be worked on as well. But, you know, as soon as, like I said, now that we have the pavilion, has the gutters on, the rain catchment set up, everything is going there. So as it rains, they'll fill up and we'll have, you know, a good amount of water available to us right there in front. It's 1,100 gallons if all 4 of those tanks are full. So that's a lot of water. We have the tanks set up behind the wolf's lair. So one of the things I'm going to be doing is getting more gutters for that. I know Rob, I'm going to be, probably tomorrow is my game plan, is I'm going to get the gutters for that. I'm going to be picking up Rob's gutters as well, because he wants to get his set up. He's already got his tank spray painted. He's got to figure out where he wants them, and then we're going to go from there. But again, it's steadily working on the thing. So as soon as we get something knocked off, like the pavilion is knocked off now, that's set. That's ready to go. Now we'll have to do some connections to connect the tanks, or however we decide we're going to do that, and that'll be okay. But it's a slow, steady process, folks, and it doesn't happen overnight. Obviously, it's time, it's money. You know, people are investing a lot of their time and money into doing these different things, getting the buildings in here, getting the sites opened up, getting the gravel in here. None of that is cheap, you know. None of that is cheap. So it's a process, and it takes time. And that's the biggest thing I think a lot of people don't think about. When they watch these videos, they don't realize, you know, the amount of effort and time and hard work that everybody's been putting in down here, because we're thinking not in small terms, we're thinking in larger terms, and when the time comes, We need to have this place down here set up, ready to go, housing, being able to stay warm, being able to stay cool, solar setups for, like, Jimmy will need to set up his own solar system. Rob has got to set up his own solar system. Mark does. Cheryl does. Dave does. You know, Johnson does. You know, up in the upper meadow, Sandy does. Bud does. You know, that's not going to happen overnight. But as we slowly work on things and get things more squared away and get things set up the way that we want to get them set up, it will come together. Like Bud's system up there, I think he still has to get that one gutter up yet, but he's got his system set up and it looks good and it's squared away. And you know, like I said again, it's a process. It's something that takes time. And that's the biggest key that I think a lot of people don't think about. It takes time. And so, you know, slowly working on things, getting it done, but we have our priorities. We know what we need to take care of. And hopefully before the snow flies, you will see a big increase in the number of buildings that have a wood stove. You will see a big increase in buildings that have the rain catchment set up. You figure, what, we got November? Let's call it November, you know, before the really colder weather starts to set in. So it's June right now, so we have July, August, September, October, and then we have November. So we have 5 months. How much better can things be in 5 months down here? I'm thinking a lot better. It's just, okay, so another thing, like the insulation that I just brought in the other day for Rob, they sent him the wrong insulation. So now we have all those bats of insulation, and they're not what he needed for his ceiling, because it's 16-inch on center, not 24-inch on center. So he's got to reorder that. But will those 12 bats go to waste? They're not going to. Do you know why? Because he needs 2 more bats to finish off what he needs to underneath, right? Then there's 10 other bats. Everybody else has got to get their buildings insulated. And I am highly encouraging people to use the rock wool insulation because it is the best insulation to use, in my opinion, for these type of things. Mark did not go with rock wool insulation in his cabin down there. That was his choice. He could do whatever he wants to do. He's a grown man. But again, it's all a process. It's what we're doing. We're trying to take care of stuff. We're trying to get things squared away. And so that's what we've been up to. Look at her sitting in the shade. She's like, yeah, you want to stand out in the sun, dummy? I'll sit right in the shade. So anyway, priorities. What are your priorities? What are you doing to put yourself in a position to be ready when the time comes? What are you doing? So those are things to think about, folks, okay? I'm just trying to, I want to always encourage you. Realize that you just do, as long as you're doing something as opposed to nothing, you're going to be in better shape. So anyway, guys, I'm going to jump off for now. I will talk to you all later. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and please be safe and keep prepping. I will talk to you later. Prepper Nurse 1, out for now.